In today's video, we are going to go over step by step how to change your inner tie rod, and we're also going to start assembly on the Evo 8. So let's go ahead and get started with the inner tie rods. As you guys know, I bought OEM new inner tie rods. This is the part number, just in case you guys want it. This should be pretty simple since we already have a lot of it out. In your case, you might have to change your outer tie rod or remove it. There's a bolt here. I think it was a 17 or 14. You bang it out, remove it, and then obviously if you're gonna use the same inner tie rod, then you're gonna have to mark it. In my case, it's a little bit, you could see where the alignment was at before. But what we're going to do is remove this clamp right here, and then remove the ear clamp over there, which hopefully I could get a flashlight for you guys later on. But there are some special tools that you're gonna need for this project if you're gonna do it like this inside the car without dropping the frame or anything like that. And these are the tools. You're gonna need an inner tie rod removal tool that AutoZone or Advanced Auto rents to you, and then you return it, so it's basically free. And then shout out to the person that commented on one of the videos what tool to use to be able to remove and install the clamp in the rear. This is another specialty tool that you are going to need. This is the part number you guys are going to see in the video. Hopefully this does work, but again, huge shout out the Evo community, and you guys are just awesome. You guys helped me out so much on this build. Believe it or not, you guys have helped a lot with a lot of the questions that I have. But let's go ahead and get started. Remove this clamp right here. Our first duty is to remove this boot out so we could get access to the actual inner tie rod. Let's get started. Alrighty, so the next step is going to be really hard to show in camera because this is the gap I have. But on the boot itself, which is right there, there's an ear clamp all the way to the back. You're gonna get a long screwdriver, put it in there in that little ear clamp, and break that clamp so that way we can remove the whole entire boot. So again, it's gonna be hard to record, but hopefully you guys understand what I mean. Alrighty, now that we have the boot completely off, we have the tie rod here, and our next step is going to be to remove it. But before we remove it, there is a clip in the back that you need to bend. And let me see if I can show you guys. Is this little tap right here on this side, and then there's another tap on the other side. There's like this little washer that you need to bend back, and then we'll be able to fit our tool and just twist it out. Obviously use a brake bar, but make sure that you guys do bend that, because if not, you're just doing this for no reason. Alrighty, now that we have the washers pushed back, and hopefully you guys can see the washer hammered back, now what we will do is get the inner tie rod remover tool, and this tool right here, all it does is basically goes on top, and then with this tool, I'll just put this towards the end all the way through and basically get a breaker bar and take it out. And just like that, the tie rod is out. It was a bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie, with this extension, but I added a little extension bar so that way I could clear the fender and I wouldn't hit the car if like something happened. That made it a little bit easier. So breaker bar with a little extension bar. And then after you remove it, just so you know, you might need to reuse this washer. Unfortunately, the OEM ones, brand new, didn't come with a new washer, so I'm gonna reuse it and then just measure it. Obviously, if you're going aftermarket, you wanna make sure that you have the exact same tie rod, like size and everything, but OEM and OEM is gonna be the same. So now it's reverse process to install. We have to go somewhere and see if I can find one of these new clamps. I don't think I could reuse it, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean this boot out and see if it's possible to reuse it. We'll see. Alrighty, so I cleaned the boot as good as possible. Basically looks brand new. And I was looking at the ear clamp, and honestly, this, I think I could reuse it. Like, I didn't break it while removing it. I honestly left it almost intact. I just loosened it a little bit, and all I have to do is use a special tool that I bought, which again, huge shout out. This is gonna allow me to do it vertically instead of like regular clamps that are like this. You guys will see once I install it, but I think I can reuse this. I'm gonna try it right now. I'm gonna reinstall everything. All we have to do is make sure that we reuse this washer. I'm gonna make it flat, clean it out, and then we'll get the new tie rod and install it. Again, reverse process. This part did end up being quite the mission. Quick tips for you guys. When you guys are trying to bend the washer back, hopefully you guys are able to get a new one and not end up like me where I'm reusing the old one. But what I ended up doing was getting inside the car and turning the steering wheel all the way left so this tie rod could come out all the way out. And then with one of these pipe pliers, I basically got it in there like that and bent it in as much as possible. It's not perfect by any means, but it is there and it is holding down, so it's doing its job. But hopefully you guys could get a new one. Maybe it will be easier when it's new, but job's done. Now all we have to do is install the boot. The clamp hopefully works and all of that, and we are good to go. We have successfully installed our ear clamp all the way over there. Hopefully you guys can sort of see it. There you guys maybe get a better angle. This was honestly a really good tool. Again, this allows us to do it horizontally instead of having to put a plier like this. Since it has the jaws for both ways, I could do it horizontal or I could do it vertically like this, but this way is the way to go. As you can see, I was able to tighten that clamp perfectly. So one side down, the other one to go. I'll just time lapse the other one, and after this we are going to get to the wheel bearings install. And just like that, both inner tie rods are completely finished and done. If you're doing this job completely, like inner tie rod and outer tie rod at once, what you could do is use the old one, and it should be marked. Like as you can see, mine is already marked right here. This is where the nut goes, and then this is where the outer tie rod goes. So all you guys have to do really is just screw this in. Obviously, as you guys are screwing this in, you guys are gonna first put the nut on this side. I'll get the nut later on since I'm not doing this right now, but you guys will basically install this to the arm, torque everything down to spec. I cannot emphasize how important it is to make sure that you guys torque everything to spec when working in suspension, wheels, anything steering and suspension is so important. Obviously engine, but steering and suspension is your life. So make sure that you guys have a torque wrench and you guys are torquing everything to spec. Alrighty, next up on the block is the wheel bearings. What we have to do to remove the old wheel bearing, I'm just gonna use a hammer, just hammer this side right here. You guys will see that. I already removed this one over here. Put a lot of WD-40 if you live in a rusty state. Thank God these arms, as you can see, they're still black and coated from the factory, which is really good. These arms usually get like really rusty. So this was fairly easy for me, but for you, it could be a little bit harder. Maybe have a press, but you guys will see the way I'm doing it. And then for this one, it's another method, but I'll show you guys after. Let me remove this one. Like that, we are done. Complete restoration on the hubs, wheel bearings, just everything is coming out exactly how I envisioned. And to be honest, I'm just like off for words, because like this is literally what I envisioned when I first got the car. This is exactly what I was looking to do, just to make sure that everything was gone through and just make sure that I do everything to the best of my abilities. Just again to remind you guys, make sure that you guys do torque these. I did put it in the video. Torque everything to spec. This is very important. And something I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you guys know, I'm pretty sure you guys always come through with my questions. There's a pen that people use to mark the bolts to make sure that they're not moving. Once I test drive the car, I want to mark every single bolt that I've torqued down with the pen. I think it's like yellow, pink. There's a lot of colors that come in. If you guys know exactly what pens those are, or markers, whatever they might be called, please help your boy out. Put it in the comments, put the links or whatever, because I am pretty sure you guys know what it is. But I want to go over every single bolt that I've torqued down, just to make sure that when I do take this car out for a test drive, I'm able to test drive it real quick and then go over every single bolt and make sure that not a single bolt has moved, just for safety. Again, a lot of these components that I'm touching are very, very important, specifically like brakes, steering, and suspension. My life will depend on it. So if you guys can help your boy out with that, I will really appreciate it. Also going to make sure that I link every single part that I use on today's episode. Also, for the tie rods, I found out that you could order a brand new washer from the dealer. I'm gonna link all of that in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this video and enjoy before and after restorations, then you should definitely watch this video where I restore my OEM headlights to even better than brand new. But anyways, until next time, like always, keep grinding and stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.